Alright guys, welcome back to Nifty Network. Today we have a G37 on the lift, and I'm going to teach you how to get your front calipers off and your rotors. Main reason you might need to do that is if your rotors are warped, if you got a stuck piston on your caliper, or if you just got to do your brakes. So I'll teach you how to get that off right now, and let's get to it. Alright, so to get the brakes, the caliper and the rotor off, you're going to need a 14, you're going to need a 14 wrench, you're going to need a 17, and you're going to need a 19. And you're also going to need a 12 to pull these off. First thing, what I like to do is I like to separate the knuckle from the upper control arm, because that allows the whole assembly to kind of lean this way, and it just gives you more room in the back to work. So we'll start here. And when you're doing this top one, then the bolt is going to be loose on here, obviously, because you just took the nut off. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to see that movement that the upper control arm has right there, how it does that. You're going to want to pinch down, and then that will allow this bolt to come out nicely. If you don't pinch down, like, you can literally hit this. It just makes it way easier. And also, if I've seen it happen before where this groove right here on the upper control arm, it'll actually get like threaded from this bolt, and then it's just a pain. So pull down on the upper, and then slide this bolt out. So now we got this hanging out like that. I'm going to undo these 12s that hold the caliper lines on, because we just don't want all that tension on the lines. And then once you have those off, just kind of push the caliper forward, and you're going to want to take the slack off that back one. So now this can go all the way. And then you're going to grab a pry bar and pry these off the mounts right here. Okay, so you get that one off. And then this one, once you have one off, the other side kind of comes off easier just because it has less tension. Get that last little bit out of there. Okay, so now you have your brake lines completely free. It's not going to get pinched or stretched or anything. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the back of the caliper, and you can remove this ABS sensor. It's just in a clip, kind of frees up a little space for you. So get that out of your way. Alright, so next step on getting the caliper and the rotor off, this is just a little trick for you. Grab a lug nut and put it on here, because 9 times out of 10, the caliper is holding the rotor on. Sometimes the rotor is just stuck on there, and then you'll have to like hammer it off. But I always put a lug nut on there, because then you can just focus on getting the caliper off. So it's a 22. Get a little impact action on her. So there's one. And there's the second one. I always like to leave the bolt in like a couple threads, just so that it holds the caliper for you. Okay, so once you do that, just rotate the caliper off of the rotor, like so. And when you separate the knuckle from the upper, it gives you a little place for your caliper to sit if you need to work on it. So that can stay right there. And then we'll take the rotor off. So like on this one, it's stuck, which it never happens. Normally the rotor will fall off when you take the caliper off. Grab a sledgehammer and just tap around this so you can free up the rotor. Make sure not to hit on the rotor. If you're keeping your rotors, don't hit on the rotor, because that'll just leave dents and marks. Okay, so right there, your rotor is off. And then if you are changing your caliper, or if you're changing your brakes, we're at that step right now. You basically just pop your brakes out of here, and then you slide the new ones in. If you're changing a caliper, just undo this 12 right here, and then you're going to want to have a little drip pan under you, because it'll make a mess. So grab a 12 and then undo that off the line. So there you go. And that right there is how you remove a caliper and a rotor on a G37.